It's a little makeover. Can I buy you a drink?
No.
Are you sure? I know I hate being alone when I'm on the rebound.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're looking at actors who worked on TV shows knowing they had illnesses that turned fatal. Since some actors' fates are tied to their fictional characters, a few spoilers will follow.
I don't like that kind of talk. Now just stop it. It upsets me.
Larry Hagman, Dallas. Larry Hagman created a TV icon in J.R. Ewing.
I'm gonna hold off on telling them I'm giving you the corner office. I want you to be here to see the look on their faces when I do.
Wouldn't miss it.
You coming back from Abu Dhabi soon?
Just gotta take care of something first.
The primetime soap opera was revived over 20 years after Dallas finished its initial run. Hagman came along for the ride despite being diagnosed with throat cancer in 2011. It wasn't the first time Hagman had faced a life-threatening illness, overcoming liver cancer in the 90s. By the time the Dallas revival premiered in June 2012, Hagman was in remission.
Thank you, Daddy. That means a whole lot for me to hear you say that.
JR?
Hello? Dad!
Only a month later, though, Hagman learned that he had developed MDS. This progressed to leukemia, which claimed his life the following November. He had already filmed a few episodes for season 2, which worked Hagman's cancer diagnosis into the plot while revisiting the classic Who Shot JR storyline.
Larry's family and close friends had joined him in Dallas for the Thanksgiving holiday. When he passed, he was surrounded by loved ones. It was a peaceful passing, just as he had wished for.
Catherine E. Coulson, Twin Peaks. While making Eraserhead, David Lynch envisioned Catherine Coulson holding a log. This provided the basis for one of Twin Peaks' fan-favorite characters, Margaret Lanterman, aka the Log Lady.
Deliver the message. Do you understand?
Years later, at her 50th college reunion, Coulson announced that she had lung cancer. This didn't stop Coulson from appearing in the long-overdue Twin Peaks revival. 4 days after wrapping her scenes, Coulson passed away.
I'm dying.
I'm sorry, Margaret.
The revival wouldn't air for another 2 years, with the premiere dedicated to Coulson. Echoing Coulson's uncurable condition, the Log Lady accepts her fate and dies off-screen.
Good night, Ha.
Co-star Miguel Ferrer also died before the revival debuted. Although Ferrer received a fatal throat cancer diagnosis, he filmed several Twin Peaks episodes while still working on NCIS.
The veteran actor died peacefully in his home Thursday morning after a long battle with cancer. He was surrounded by friends and family.
Catherine Justin, Desperate Housewives.
But for the first time in her life, she found herself thinking about such things. Because she knew that her life was coming to an end.
Catherine Justin worked as a nurse before appearing as a guest star on numerous shows. Her most acclaimed role would be as Karen McCluskey on Desperate Housewives. Justin won 2 Emmys for playing the cranky yet lovable neighbor. As the series entered its 6th season in 2009, Justin was diagnosed with lung cancer. It would be Justin's second round against the disease, having her right lung removed several years earlier. Although her health declined, she continued to play Mrs. McCluskey until the final episode.
I know it sounds sappy, but damn it, it's true. And these wonderful people I've lived beside, well, they're my family.
Justin and the show's producers saw eye to eye on how her character's journey should end. Lung cancer claims Karen's life, but not before she takes the stand in a crucial trial. 20 days after the finale aired, Justin passed away.
Your Honor, this is preposterous. There's no way that frail woman could have committed this crime.
Adrenaline, fear, you'd be surprised what people can do.
Christopher Evan Welch, Silicon Valley.
Go work at Burger King. Go into the woods and forage for nuts and berries. Do not go back to college. I think I have been played. Fine. Go ahead and pitch. You have until I fasten the seatbelt in my car.
Christopher Evan Welch's scene-stealing turn as the quirky billionaire Peter Gregory should have been a major turning point for his career. The role would instead be a bookend Welch didn't live to see. Welch received his lung cancer diagnosis around 2010, about 3 years before he started shooting his scenes for Silicon Valley.
I'm paying you $200,000 for 5%, yet you're giving this man twice that in exchange for a futon and some sandwiches?
After learning his cancer had spread to his brain, Welch reportedly told his wife and doctor, "I have to go shoot this pilot." Although Welch underwent surgery following the first episode's taping, his co-workers were led to believe he would pull through. It came as a shock to them when Welch died mid-production, only filming 5 episodes. Rather than recast, Peter Gregory canonically died the following season in an absurdly tragic way.
He hadn't run in a long time, maybe ever. And, you know, he just... that was it.
Rock Hudson, Dynasty. This legendary actor closed out his career with a recurring role on Dynasty.
Pull!
Only a few months before Rock Hudson debuted as Daniel Reese, he was diagnosed with AIDS. Hudson kept his condition private for over a year, making a public announcement on July 25, 1985. By this point, he'd already finished his arc on Dynasty, which wrapped early due to his declining health.
You deserve Crystal. I told you once I'd fight to the death for her. I know. To both of you.
Hudson was aware of his diagnosis during a scene when he kissed Linda Evans. Still keeping his secret, Hudson was reportedly terrified that he might give AIDS to Evans. Widespread misinformation about AIDS was still common back then.
It would be years later that the revelation he had AIDS also exposed his homosexuality. Hudson had successfully hidden it, even had a brief studio-arranged marriage when a magazine threatened to expose him.
Despite his best efforts to keep working, Hudson continued to struggle and died 3 months after disclosing his illness to the world. Patrick Swayze, The Beast. One of the most popular film stars throughout the 80s and 90s, Patrick Swayze finished the 2000s as the lead on A&E's The Beast.
You were outside, so how the hell could you know how much we were liked unless you were FBI? I shot you in the best, son, to keep you from getting killed. Maybe next time I don't. Breathe shallow, it won't hurt so bad. Now get in the car.
Playing morally gray FBI agent Charles Barker, Swayze shot the pilot shortly before learning he had pancreatic cancer. Swayze nonetheless remained committed to the role, filming this season over 5 months. All the while, Swayze underwent treatment without taking painkillers.
Yeah. Hold on. I got things to do. You got 90 minutes on my delivery. Don't be late.
During this difficult period, he only missed a day and a half from the shoot. Although The Beast received positive reviews, it wasn't renewed due to low ratings. Even if the series had gotten a second season, Swayze wouldn't have been able to reprise his role. Barely 2 months after its cancellation, Swayze would sadly succumb to his disease.
Patrick was a really good man, a funny man, and one to whom I owe much that I can never repay.
Alice Pierce, Bewitched. This actress is best remembered for playing the definitive nosy neighbor, Gladys Kravitz from Bewitched.
Gladys, I worked like a dog for 32 years.
And the house across the street has got a lawn, and after there are trees and flowers.
So what do you want from me?
In the series, Gladys was always suspicious of the hocus pocus occurring at the Stevens household. Behind the scenes, Alice Pierce had a secret of her own. Pierce was living with terminal cancer, which she chose to keep private. The showrunners might not have been aware of Pierce's diagnosis, but her condition would start to take a noticeable physical toll. Regardless, Pierce kept audiences laughing well into season 2.
There was a room full of poles and reels and fish. Sailfish this big. And rubber boots.
Baby's first paragraph was the last episode Pierce filmed before taking a turn for the worse 6 weeks later. While Sandra Gould inherited the role of Gladys, Pierce won a posthumous Emmy for her swan song season.
We got a call from some lady, says you got a talking baby.
Yes, that was me. Mrs. Kravitz with a K. Ravitz.
Nicholas Colasanto, Cheers. Developing heart disease in the 70s, Nicholas Colasanto had trouble finding work over the next few years. He was prepared to call it quits when a career-defining role came his way. Colasanto's heartfelt performance as Coach Ernie Pantuso was integral throughout the early seasons of Cheers.
I have been chosen to be this year's visiting scholar at the University of Bologna.
Oh, Fraser, that's wonderful.
University of Bologna? I can't believe they need a university for a thing like that. I know it's a complicated meet, but...
Although Colasanto's heart condition wasn't a secret, few realized how serious it was until season 3. As Colasanto started losing significant weight and forgetting his lines, some suspected he didn't have much time left.
We'd sit on the porch, listen to the ball game. I'd bounce your kids on my knee. God, it was going to be a happy house.
Well, I guess that's going to be
Frazier's house now, Coach.
Well, you can come by anytime, Sam.
It still caught many off guard when Colasanto died from a heart attack in February 1985, 2 months after being hospitalized for water in his lungs. While Cheers would go strong for another 8 seasons, Coach and Colasanto were never forgotten.
I'm a friend of Coach's. Is he around?
I'm sorry, Woody. I guess you hadn't heard. No, Coach passed away a couple months ago. But yeah, I'd like to think he's still around.
Helen McCrory, Peaky Blinders.
I don't doubt you, Severus. You should be honored, Sissy. As should Draco. He's just a boy.
From Narcissa Malfoy in the Harry Potter movies to Madame Callie in Penny Dreadful, this British actress had several memorable roles.
I sense something of the old days in it. The old days. The days before now.
Peaky Blinders fans will recognize her as Polly Gray, the Shelby family's tough-as-nails matriarch. Although death was commonplace on Peaky Blinders, Aunt Polly's perhaps hit us the hardest. That's because Helen McCrory died from breast cancer between the 5th and 6th series. McCrory had sworn her friends and family to secrecy as she privately went through treatment. To almost everyone else, her death seemingly came out of the blue.
Actress Helen McCrory has died. She was 52 years old.
With the final episodes of Peaky Blinders entering production, the showrunners suddenly had to rethink certain elements. This included Polly's fate with the character dying in the series' 6th premiere.
I'm heartbroken to announce that after a heroic battle with cancer, the beautiful and mighty woman that is Helen McCrory has died peacefully at home.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Nancy Marchand, The Sopranos.
You lock the door after you?
Yeah, I did.
You know, somebody called here last night after dark.
Oh.
You think I'd answer? It was dark out.
When Nancy Marchand was cast as Tony's reprehensible mother, Livia Soprano, producers knew they might be taking a risk. In addition to emphysema and COPD, Marchand had been facing lung cancer for the past few years. Marchand's agent was upfront with the Sopranos showrunners, but they still wanted her. While Livia wasn't supposed to live long, Marchand's Golden Globe winning performance convinced the team to keep her around into the 2nd season.
That beautiful plate that Aunt Septimia took from that restaurant in Rome, it's gone.
I don't know, Mom. She seems like a nice person.
She doesn't fool me for a second.
Marchand said shortly before her death in June 2000, "If I die, it's not my problem. It's David Chase left holding the bag." Although Chase had big plans for Livia, Marchand's passing forced the series to give her a send-off in season 3, using archival footage and CGI.
I never stated those tickets were stolen, capiche? Now, Barb will testify I didn't say it, but you gotta back her up.
I suppose I should have just kept my mouth shut, like a mute.
Which TV actors do you miss the most? Let us know in the comments.
You know as well as I, no treasure is worth as much as the good that can be done with it.